There's always a point in a painting when you're like, this looks horrible. I don't know how this is going to get to my finished product. That was around here for me. Yeah, so this is definitely one of my favorite paintings that I've ever done. We actually put it in a little frame and have it up on the mantle, so I'm super excited to show this one to you. I do want to go ahead and mention that what you're watching here is me following a tutorial that I found on YouTube, but I found it in October of last year, maybe even September, and I haven't been able to see it again since. So if you recognize this painting or the style, please comment below and let me know so I can give the person who put that tutorial out a good shout out. One of my favorite things about gouache is that you can change its opacity by adding or removing water. And you can see I really started to play with that here as I was layering and building up the background here. Starting to work on that sky with this absolutely gorgeous blue. Of course, gouache is known for being able to layer really, really well, especially if you continue from like a wash layer up through a thicker layer as you go. And where you can get in trouble is what I just almost started to do, which was to add water on top of a multiple layers of paint, because at the top you really need something a little bit thicker than the layer before to build that depth. Otherwise you kind of end up with mud. I love painting trees at night. It's really fun to play with shadows. and differentiate branches from shadow. So I really tried to change the tone of the trees just enough so that they weren't all black and that there was some depth and maybe some reflection of the moon or of the light posts. But I didn't totally love it, so you'll watch me play with the trees a lot throughout the course of this video. And that's okay, and also really beautiful. And once again, why I love gouache so much. As ruthless as it is, it can also be really forgiving. I loved that color, that shade of deep mauve. Absolutely gorgeous. So I'm using a round brush and alternating between that and a dry brush to create that stippling effect. And I lost a lot of the footage where I made those leaves, but that's pretty much what I did. And for different sizes, I used a smaller round brush. And you can see I'm starting to add depth to that top area of the painting with the trees, leaves, which started out such dark black, green, and we'll get to watch them grow and change. I'm really just playing with shades and filling in shadows. I think that's why I loved this painting so much, is the layers allowed for this everywhere you looked, a sense of complexity. I love gouache too because it is matte. It gives this kind of cartoon look. Gouache was used a lot for children's book illustrations, and it still is. And so because there's this sort of sense of fantasy with the way the medium looks, it ends up being a lot more forgiving because it doesn't need to be perfect. Now, gouache isn't always all that forgiving, and I don't think I ever really settled with loving the branches on the top right of this painting, but at a certain point, I decided to just stop making it worse. This was so nerve-wracking. I had just spent all of this time and energy working on making this beautiful background, and I found a lot of success with gouache when you start with the background and work to the foreground. But what I found is that means by the time you get to the foreground, you're worried about messing up everything you did for the background, so pressure's on. I liked this, so almost a dry stippling effect to get some extra leaves. But the mix I'd made was too runny, and I didn't need that much of it, so I didn't want to mix up more. And then I did exactly what I wasn't supposed to do and made sort of a muddy mess by adding too much water. So I'm going to give it a minute to dry, and you'll see how I come back and correct it. White can be such a powerful final touch or touches to a painting. Just the tiniest amount can change the way light looks. The best part, I actually had to slow it down so this is normal speed, just so we could appreciate this moment. If you're curious about any of the supplies I used, I will be sure to link them in the description box below, and you can check them out. They're my favorites. Last couple touches. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope you enjoyed this, found it relaxing. If you did, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.